So a massive war broke out in the last video. We've got wars in all regions of the map. We've got it going on in Scandinavia, in the Middle East, in the Balkan states, in the Baltic states, in Eastern Europe, in Western Europe. It's everywhere. And by the end of this video, there really could be a whole new ball game. A whole new playing field. Right now, I mean, obviously the Greeks and the Goths are number one. Whoa, we've had some rebels that popped up. In terms of score, at least, actually no longer anymore. Maybe the loss of that one city, because Rome has taken their first city away from the Greeks. Maybe by losing this city, they dropped in score a little bit. But bam, Novgorod and Russia, just like that, took over the lead in score. Just barely. I mean, not by much. They were pretty close behind. They were pretty close beforehand. And now Carthage is going after. Now, I don't know if Rome expected this. Carthage has been at war with everybody for like the entire video. Throughout almost the entire series, ever since they lost their team member. Everyone's been trying to take out Carthage. This is going to be a very, very tough time for the Romans. The Romans probably weren't expecting this, that Dido would pose this much of a threat after they took over that city. Good move. Very good move for Dido. And she has open borders agreements, so she's cool with Alexander's. Alexander's really going to utilize this. Here comes his fleet, by the way. Probably going to attack Antium, but he also needs to worry about the Pope and their own fleet, because Argos is open to an attack from that region. Bavaria will be losing a pretty big city. We have obviously kind of the coalition against Scandinavia. I guess Sweden in Scandinavia. Hey, but they're going to lose this. Poland's going to lose that city, I think. Scotland is too preoccupied with I don't even know. We'll see if Denmark starts to attack Stockholm. I think they will. So the Huns had declared war on both of the powers that they probably shouldn't have. They declared war on both the Goths and the Russians at the same time. Not a smart move, but at the same time, the Goths were already pretty weak. Ooh, they need to watch out. Do they have any more troops? This is all the Huns have. This is it. So they either need to give up. Well, they're not going to give up. They're going to take the city over now, and they're going to come and take it. They're going to come back and probably defend. But they need to get there fast. They don't really have an infrastructure up, so they're not going to be able to get there that fast. The Goths will more than likely take this back with the frigates and their ranged boats and the trebuchet. See, this is a point where Greece really should have taken over Constantinople. Constantinople is still blocking the route from the Black Sea to the Eastern Mediterranean. That's a huge deal. Constantinople holds so much power. So yeah, Carthage did take this over. And that is going to be very, very tough for Augustus to take that back. And now it's kind of too late because Alexander has already brought back his own fleet. His fleet is over here ready to attack. The siege of Paris is over. That war is done. Spain is done with attacking. Oh, actually, they might take this over if they get a melee unit. Spain might be able to take over one more French city. But they need some sort of melee unit, which they have none, I think, throughout their empire. So that's going to make things tough. Wow. Egypt and Arabia pieced out. That's big. That is very big. We have France and Arabia, which means Arabia and the Hittites. The Huns, since they already destroyed Bulgaria, they're done. And Arabia and Poland. Any more peace deals? No. Okay, let's go to the next turn. Egypt's, I don't know, man. I mean, they really need to kick Ramses out of their land. So Arabia, it's not really, I wouldn't say a win that it was a stalemate. Bam, there goes Bavaria. Russia took over this city, which actually it's going to be harder that way for Novgorod and Russia to hold on to all this stuff. We've got Austria here. They're building a wonder. So they're still building wonders even though they're fighting the Goths. The Goths are looking really paper thin right now. Looking throughout their empire, I mean, they have only a handful of units still left. And Greece isn't really helping out. They need to watch Russia. The Huns really need to watch Russia. They're going to lose a city if they don't get up here fast enough. Novgorod still planning down cities one by one. And Sweden will be taking over this guy here very soon. Do we see anything else? Oh, I didn't think about that. I forgot that the Goths were over here. So, yeah, you know, Scotland could grab Northern Ireland. Could very easily grab Northern Ireland. Is there anything else? We've got a Spanish settler. Where did that Egyptian settler go? Oh, yep, he's totally going here. Antium has been captured by Greece. Did that wow. Okay, wasn't expecting that. That's pretty huge. Captured by Rome. Okay, so Carthage lost this city that was formerly Greek before. Either way, Carthage did their job helping Alexander by quite a bit. Poland lost this city here in northern Scandinavia. Jeez, there's a lot. I was not expecting Antium to fall, though. I didn't think that the Greek fleet was that strong, but apparently they are. Apparently they are. That is pretty shocking. The Russians haven't really sieged out any Hunnic cities just yet. They haven't even begun any sieges, which is kind of a big deal. They seem to be scattered throughout this area. And it looks like they've left enough troops here to protect this city. These cannon units and the crossbowmen will do much damage to just one ship that the Goths have. So surprisingly enough, the Huns might survive this. And really, you know, hold on to their cities while even taking. They took a city from the Goths. This is big. This is very big. Alexander's plotting against the Hittites. Seems about right. Now, will they be able to take over this city? This city, that you can attack it from two sides. So Switzerland was at war with France. They just didn't do anything about it. That's kind of annoying. They just sat there and watched as the British needed a little bit more help, and they would have been able to take over that capital. Kind of got to keep watching over Iceland. Sweden out of troops for the most part. And bam. All right, so Spain took their third French city. France is now down to 4 cities. I mean, the British are still trying to siege Paris, but there's a lot of unrest going on in the British Isles and Ireland. I don't know if Queen Victoria is really looking to send much, you know, that much more reinforcements, I guess. Will Scotland take this over? I think they will. Although, if they lose this boat, they won't. They've got the range units to take it over. Ooh, that was a smart move by the Goths, attacking the melee unit. Yep, and Scotland they've got another caravel, but that's going to take them a few turns to get around back towards Northern Ireland. Get around their capital. Next turn. Man, there is a lot going on. I'm still waiting for Norway to get involved in Scandinavia. They could really maybe help the siege of... Well, I don't know if Babylon would want to go... Babylon wouldn't be affected by a Swedish war. They're too far away from Lithuania, so it'd be fine. Sumer is still looking real powerful. The Middle East seems to have stabled out for the first time in a while. Much more stable than before. Russia's still having a very tough time deciding which city it wants to take. And here comes Russia and Novgorod working together after this Hunnic city. Forget about this part. That is going to complicate some things. Attila has troops here to defend. He's got a cannon and a crossbowman, but there's multiple units that they're going to have to defend against. So the Huns might lose one city. How are the Goths doing? Luckily for them, Austria really hasn't moved in too deep into their territory. And, you know, Hungary still has troops. Neither has Lithuania. They're very lucky. The Goths are really, really lucky. Because if everyone that was at war with the Goths all invaded, then I'm pretty sure the Goths would crumble. But, you know, they're not communicating like that. They have no idea. Fog of war, and it's just kind of interesting. I could see that kind of playing out in a real-life scenario. Maybe all these people are at war, all these weaker powers are at war with the Goths, but they're not communicating between each other. Maybe they don't know the exact battle plans, but if they all invaded, yeah, I think they'd have a lot of success. Greece seems to have slowed down, or maybe even split up their troops. Still, Rome being down to three cities is a big deal. They might be back down to 2, because Greece might grab the city back at some point. Now, what do the Spanish do? What do the Spanish do now? Their troops are obviously kind of stacked by Troyes once again. Is Portugal at war? I think Portugal is at war with the Moors. Because I think Portugal declared war on Ramses. I think that might be right. The Vandals building up more troops, maybe to attack Carthage very soon. They've got a lot of military units here. Anything else? Oh, so now the Egyptians are just going after the Umayyad, which is kind of a smart move. Forgot the Umayyad were at war with Babylon. That is going to be bad. Embargo the Umayyad. Let's see if that passes. And we have no more notifications. I forgot. So the Umayyads were at war with Babylon, I think, for a while now, weren't they? Or maybe not. Yeah, so the Portuguese are at war with the Moors. I apologize. They might have been at war with them for a while. The Portuguese are just now invading. That's the thing. So now that Ramses is no longer dealing with Arabia, he's going back after the Umayyad. The Umayyad are going after the Babylonians. The Babylonians were... Who are their alliance member again? Ah, Norway. That's right. That is right. I think the Umayyads could take this over. They've got the melee units and the range units. Yeah, they certainly should be able to. Even though the Babylonians are at 48 city defense, I think this should be an easy win for them. Although the Sumer should probably try to jump in and attack real quick. That'd be a very useful city for them to take over. And everywhere else, I guess the northern region is just trying to stay all out of this stuff. Huge mess. The Armenians just trying to stay out of it, which is probably the best decision. Okay, throw that there. The city's being surrounded. It is surrounded. The Swedish are kind of moving over towards modern-day Finland, which is a problem, because now Denmark's actually sending over troops towards Stockholm. You're going to be in a very tough situation, Sweden. Yep. So Scotland wasn't able to get the job done, and they're not even moving this caravel over, so the Goths might not end up losing this city if they don't start moving. The Moors have somewhat rebuilt a little bit here. I'm so surprised the Vandals haven't gone after the Moors, to be honest. Or Songhai, but Songhai doesn't really have any naval units. They don't have any coastal cities to build naval units. They've got 2, but they're weakened. They're weak cities. Big invasion going on all throughout the Eastern Mediterranean. Is there anything else? The Huns. This is how aggressive the Huns are being. They have units here to defend. Now they're going after the next Gothic city. That is so surprising. They have troops here to defend these 2 cities. They've got a cannon and crossbowmen, as well as 1 musketman. Very smart. I'm so surprised that Attila is doing this. He needs to, though. I mean, he doesn't have any other choice. His partner's so weak right now. Bavaria is just there. It's a big city. That's, don't get me wrong, 17 population. I'm sure it's providing to a lot of the science. Bavaria is like the city-state. It's like a science city-state. Like an imaginary science city-state. Didn't realize that Paris was at 19 pop, though. 19 for the Scottish capital as well. The Moors at 22. Jeez. Now, this is just Europe. I'm sure if we go outside of Europe, we'll see way bigger cities. Or maybe not. I'm guessing Thebes. Thebes is at 22. Mecca very low in health. And bam, the Babylon... Wow, how did the Umayyads not take this over? You know what? They might have felt... No, I kind of understand. The Umayyads probably felt threatened by Ramses. Still, the Sumer need to invade, man. It's 24 population city. That's huge. That is freaking huge. Antium is once again under siege. Austria kind of moving into Gothic territory again. Once again, moving into Gothic territory again. So, again, providing a lot of pressure. This is not good for the Greeks and the Goths, who I would probably have put as the #1 team to beat for a while there, but I don't know. Bam, here goes the invasion of this city. Novgorod will probably take this over, which will give them a new border with Lithuania. Lithuania, just, a one-city civ at this point, and they don't have a very strong team member. Actually, all of, Eastern Europe, very weak at this stage in the game. We've got Poland, Prussia, very weak. Bohemia is not that weak, but they're, only at 2 cities. An outside force like the Goths, like the Russians, or their, equivalent team members could really do a lot of damage. Okay, so you got really, really lucky with that. Very lucky. You're going to keep your hold over Northern Ireland. That's where they settled, north of Scotland territory. We have Sweden and Denmark piecing out, so Sweden's going to survive. And they even grabbed the city, so that was actually a good war for them to be in, for the most part. Greeks and the Goths, they still haven't pieced out the Huns, though. But they don't have to worry about the Lithuanians anymore. They also still need to peace out with with Austria Hungary. So a few peace deals have happened. And Poland now will go after Lithuania, I guess. Is there anything else? Oh, see, this is going to be a problem. You better hope that Greece comes and helps you. You guys need to take over Constantinople. That is like an absolute essential thing that needs to happen at this point. Really kind of needs to happen. The Umayyad, they kind of, since Ramses has retreated back to the Suez Canal, yeah, they're kind of going back for the Babylonian capital. Big city. If the Umayyads could grab this, it's a big, big city. They need to grab it for Portugal, too, because Portugal is really struggling. Portugal's not going to be able to take over the Moor city. 70 city defense. Bam. So the war for France is over. Spain and the British have peaced out. Greeks and the Goths have peaced out with Denmark and Scotland. And no peace deals have happened. Sweden and Lithuania have peaced out. Sweden and Lithuania peaced out with Russia, Novgorod. Russia, Novgorod peaced out with the Austrian Hungary Empire. I guess if you want to call it an empire. They're like the most powerful in the middle of Europe, I'd say. The Austrian-Hungarian alliance, probably the most powerful in the kind of middle of Europe, at least. Still, just a huge mess. This map is still a massive, massive mess. Oh, here comes Carthage once again. Yes, the Romans will be down to, for sure, 2 cities. So the Italian peninsula being invaded right now. And here comes Austria. So the Goths now being invaded by in both their Western Empire and their Eastern Empire. This would be a big, big move. This would be a big step up for Austria if they could grab a few cities. So the Netherlands, and I believe it is Armenia. So Ramses will be going after Armenia, but that's too far north. They're going to be fine. Greeks and the Goths peaced out with Rome and the Pope. But Carthage is going to take this back, and Rome will be out of naval units. Greece had done enough damage to Augustus, and he destroyed all of their fleets, their entire fleet. So we'll have to watch out for that. Notice that I'm seeing Alexander kind of come and defend the Goths a little bit more now that the Goths are kind of being spread very thin. I'm surprised that this city hadn't been taken over. The Huns are still at war. They're still in conflict with Russia, Novgorod. Still insane to see the Huns do this well. It's not usually likely. This is like the first map, if you think about it, in any AI-only battle that I've done, either that being a European campaign or a world campaign, where both the Huns and the Russians are both about level strength. I understand there's teams involved, but if you just individualize both of those civs, they're both about the same in terms of strength. Usually it's one or the other. Usually there was one that's really, really weak for most of the game, and then eventually they get eliminated by the end, or they get eliminated very early on. This is the first time we're both seeing these powers together. Both strong, and yeah, that's going to be interesting. The Sumer declared war on the Armenians, pretty much. They better be careful, because if they can't move through Babylonian territory, they're not going to be able to defend the city. Anyways, guys, I'm going to have to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.